Heidi-ho, my peeps! Sorry about the weird lighting. I'm lying back in my bathtub, obviously, and I've got this weird backlighting, so you're gonna get the leprechaun. Leprechaun. Did you guys see that movie? What movie was it? I can't remember. I think it was Will Ferrell that... No, it wasn't. It was Mike Myers in Wayne's World with the flashlight under his face, leprechaun. Oh, that was funny. Anyhow, last night I spent my first full night at the hospital. They got my mom into a room, finally. These are rooms. I mean, they're like, these nice hotel rooms. I mean, marble sinks and beautiful tile work, and they always have either a couch or some sort of recliner bed thing that family can sleep on. Really nice, beautiful rooms, which doesn't make being sick any easier, but I think it makes it easier on family. Anyhow, and all the rooms are private too, which is kind of interesting. But anyhow, so they got her into a room about 1 o'clock, and, we both bedded down for the night. They gave her some Ativan and some more morphine. She's not getting enough. She's only getting 24 milligrams of morphine spread out throughout the day. And I think in part that's because they don't want to suppress her respiration, at least not yet, because they're thinking about doing a thoracentesis to pull the fluid off of her lung, not for any curative hope, but more just for comfort, just to give her some comfort. So, I don't think that's going to happen because her blood has gotten quite thin. She has no potassium, so they were going to give it 24 hours with some medication, see if they could thicken up her blood a little bit, because if they can't, she'll just bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed at the thoracentesis site. So, I think that was just 24 hours of wasted time. But, those of you who have gone through this, I mean, how you manage your parent or grandparent or beloved, whoever it happens to be, you manage their last illness it's not even day to day. I mean, often it's an hour to hour sort of management where things can change drastically. And I was telling one of my friends, I said, you get a plan, right? Yeah, and putting these plans into place can be a little bit complicated. Not as complicated as healthcare, but complicated, okay? So we got a plan together, and we're pummeling along the path, getting things done, and then boom, a brick wall rises up in front of you and just slam into it, and it knocks you back on your ass, and you're like, oh, okay, when the stars start, going around your head and you catch your breath, you get up, you make a new plan, and you head off in another direction until the next brick wall rears up in your face and you slam into that. So it's like a really, really stupid, really, really strong mouse in a maze. You're just running until you hit that wall, and you bounce back and you run until you hit another wall. So that's kind of what it feels like. But notwithstanding that, the things are going fairly smoothly. I mean, once you understand and accept that it is the last illness for, this person you love, then it all becomes about their comfort. And with what happens to me is my inner community organizer kicks into shape, and I'll start thinking in terms of the business, the paperwork, the housekeeping of the situation. So I've been doing a lot of things like, the first thing I did is I double-checked her healthcare directive. I wanted to make sure we were doing things the way that she wanted them to be done, and we are. Then I kind of reread the trust, and I pulled out some old, well, not old, but several previous years behind us, years of tax returns, because I wanted to kind of get my mind around a few things we're going to have to deal with. And then, I was like, oh, well, there's stuff in the safe deposit box that goes to my brother. I better go get it now since he's in town. So I'm going to go and do that. I'd been keeping a couple things for him here. And so I'm going to, after I get out of this bathtub and get cleaned up or dressed again, I'm going to, gather up the stuff I wanted to give to him because he will be going home today. So that sort of thing, I dialed up the attorney. I went and spoke with her a little bit about prioritization. She knows, is there anything I need to be doing now? Because, mom's death is imminent, and if I can get started on something now that'll make it easier for me, let's do that. And so I've just been running around, from office to office, getting a grip on what I'm going to have to do. So it almost isn't even necessary, really, because I've done this twice before. I've been the executrix of two estates in my life. So one was a little complicated. The other one was very simple. And this estate's going to be even more complicated. But I feel comfortable, like I know what I'm supposed to do. So I'm okay. So I'm still trying to carve out a little bit of time for my own family while all this is going on. I got together with my son Nick. He stopped by the hospital and we sat out in the lobby, and he was telling me about his chemistry class and his calculus that he's doing well in and blah, blah, blah. So I gave him my time for a while. And then my other his roommate is dying of liver disease, and he's been in and out of the hospital. So I'm trying to give my oldest son some support through that. And then, of course, Grant is continuing to work at his dad's house once a week. So on those days, I make sure that there's somebody watching my mom, and I help him. Now, of course, if it looks like if Saturday looks like her last day, of course I won't go with Grant. I'll stay with her. But that is how I'm trying to keep myself sane, is to make sure I carve out a little time for family. I don't have time for friends right now, but that's okay. Everyone that I was going to get together with, they're wonderful people, or they wouldn't be my friends, right? Right. So they're all very cool with it, and some of them are coming by to see my mom, so that makes it a little bit easier. So that is, in a nutshell, what I have been going through. Don't know how many more days this is going to be, but it's not going to be very many. So I'm just going to continue to sit next to my mom and hold her hand and do all of the things you do when your parent is passing and you have the lucky opportunity to spend some time with them in their last days. So I consider myself very blessed and very lucky that I have this time. So on that kind of bittersweet note, I'm going to say bye-bye to you, and I think I'm going to shave my furry legs, and I will talk to you later.